AstraZeneca's coronavirus vaccine in people 65 years and older. Germany's vaccination committee has reversed its guidance not to administer the Oxford AstraZeneca jab to over 65s in light of new studies proving the vaccine's efficacy. We have Daniel Winter of DW News joining us live from Berlin. Daniel, while the European Medicines Agency cleared the AstraZeneca shot for all adults in January, Germany was among several European countries, of course, and South Korea, that advised limiting its use because of lack of clinical trial data on its efficacy in the over 65 age group. Now it's confirmed that it had updated that guidance. What's prompted this change of heart and why now?
Well, Germany's Standing Commission for Vaccinations now says they have enough data to back up claims that AstraZeneca's vaccine is both safe and effective in over 65s. However, let's be clear, the previous concern of the Commission was not that the vaccine was dangerous, but rather that they felt that the effectiveness in that age group had not been fully proven. That has now changed. Also, Germany's National Institute, which examines vaccines, says there's been a slightly higher rate of side effects registered for the AstraZeneca jab, but warned that this could be merely due to the intense media attention put on the vaccine, making people more likely to register even mild reactions for this jab specifically. In reality, there could be little to no difference in side effects compared to other vaccines. One final thing came out of the Commission's report. They say that the vaccine is more effective when leaving a 12-week gap between doses. That gap should help Germany to get a first dose to more people quicker than before. So far, the country has struggled with its vaccine rollout.
Right. We will get to that issue. Now, 12 weeks it is. Now, it was a German company, was it not, that came up with one of the first approved vaccines. Yet Germany is still lagging way behind with vaccinations. Of course, it is ahead of South Korea, though. Where did it all go wrong? I mean, as of today, how much of the German population have been vaccinated?
Well, as you said, it really has gone wrong. Only 5% of Germans have even received their first dose. Essentially, Germany bought into the EU's collective programme for sourcing vaccines, and to put it simply, the EU backed the wrong horse. The AstraZeneca vaccine production inside the EU did not go to plan. Now, the situation was so bad that Germany's most popular newspaper, Bild, wrote the headline recently, "Dear Britons, we envy you." After all, Britain has managed to give a third of its citizens at least one dose, and many Britons believe that it's Brexit that helped them to achieve that. Now, while Germany is set to get a large batch of millions of doses this week, only 65% of the doses Germany already has have actually been administered, highlighting the logistical or bureaucratic problems in the country.
Meanwhile, Chancellor Angela Merkel has unveiled a 5-step plan to ease Germany's lockdown restrictions. She had previously said she wanted to wait until infections were at much lower levels until before easing lockdowns. Would you say this is a U-turn from the German Chancellor?
Well, Angela Merkel argues that the circumstances have changed enough to allow for possible reopening. For example, the availability of rapid testing, which just wasn't there in Germany until recently. Now, her government says there'll be enough tests for every citizen to get a COVID result for free every week until the population is vaccinated. Now, that's a big promise in a country with 80 million people. There's been criticism, though, about this 5-step plan, and there are two camps. On one side, the likes of the Association for Intensive Care Medicine says it's way too early to introduce a roadmap for reopening. Death rates may be going down, but daily cases are creeping up. And others say, of course, that the plan is too slow, such as the finance minister, who's from a different party than the Chancellor, the Social Democratic Party. Now, keep in mind, we are in a general election year, so expect criticism from all sides, of course. But speaking to the average Germans here, there's cautious approval, but also confusion over the plans. There are 5 steps, and they each have different criteria. And if the criteria actually change, well, lockdowns could be reintroduced.
Well, I think the situation is pretty similar all over the world. Now, Daniel, any sense of when Germany and Europe will begin to get back to a relative normality?
Well, scientists here say it's quite possible that case numbers will ease over the summer, as they did last year. But Europe's biggest problem is the patchwork of strategies and lockdown measures of all kinds, which has the potential to cause further chaos. I mean, just think of holidaymakers or business travelers, for example. But if everything goes as Angela Merkel hopes, Germany will be at a stage of so called new normal by around April. Museums, cinemas, and restaurants will be open, though with strict hygiene measures still in place. For things to really get close to pre-COVID times, though, that will be a much bigger task. What Germany's response needs now more than ever is a shot in the arm, quite literally.
All right, Daniel Winter, DW correspondent, crossing out live for us from Berlin. Thank you, Daniel. Great coverage. Now, back here in this country, President Moon Jae-in today